Yesterday, local businesses made their donations to Special Olympics Ontario with just over a month to go until the games open in Sault Ste. Marie February 1st. 8 organizations and businesses presented checks to Special Olympics Ontario at the Sault Police Services Building, including Sault Online on TV.
Today we had 8 different check presentations from companies here in Sault Ste. Marie that are coming on board as sponsors for the 2019 Winter Games. So we had a number of sponsors from the lower bronze sponsorship from a few smaller companies all the way up into larger corporations that were involved today. So it was great. It's great to see the mix coming on board, and we have a number of small businesses and schools that have been coming on board lately, and they're adopting athletes. That's our website is ssm2019games.com, and when you go on there you have the option to adopt an athlete, and what we're seeing is some smaller workplaces are joining together and raising some funds amongst themselves, and they're raising that $500 to adopt an athlete to come here to Sault Ste. Marie.
Special Olympics has been an absolutely wonderful experience for the Sault Ste. Marie Police Service and this community. You know, having just witnessed 8 or 9 check presentations, it just speaks to the issue of how much this community supports Special Olympics and realizes the important function they provide for athletes across this province. You know what? I know Christmas is coming and we're excited about that, but we're just as excited about the Special Olympics, simply because it's a great opportunity to profile this community with Special Olympics. Special Olympics is all about giving to a group of people and giving them that opportunity to shine. And I can't think of a better thing at Christmas to give in this sense.
Feedback has been amazing, especially with our recent economic climate here in Sault Ste. Marie. You know, coming into a major fundraiser where you're looking to cover the $600,000 expense of bringing in 500 athletes and coaches, and paying to run all the games and provide all those accommodations, to see the number of businesses coming on board and supporting people in our communities that have intellectual disabilities, and providing them, as the chief had said, that opportunity of inclusion for them to feel as part of a team is amazing to see the support here in the city.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford says there are many inaccuracies in the former acting Ontario Provincial Police Commissioner's letter to the Ombudsman about the potential political interference in the hiring of Ron Taverner.
All the items that weren't accurate in that letter, and there's endless ones. I could give you a list of all the police act that was broken throughout that whole letter, but none of you want to report on that. So what I'm going to do, I'm taking the high road. I'm going to take the high road, and I'm going to let the review go through.
Canada's privacy watchdog is warning marijuana users you should pay with cash rather than plastic if you're worried about the collection of your personal information. In a statement posted on his website, Privacy Commissioner Daniel Therrien says pot sellers and buyers need to better understand their privacy rights and obligations, and has suggested a number of guidelines. Some Canadians have been barred for life from entering the United States after admitting to using cannabis or being involved in the legal industry. Therrien suggests buyers can avoid the collection of their personal information by using cash instead of credit cards when you're buying pot from legal retail outlets. However, this option is currently not available to Canadians who have little choice but to buy online, because some provinces have only a limited number of retail stores, or in the case of Ontario, no real retail stores at all for several more months. The Ontario Cannabis Store has already reported a privacy breach through Canada Post that affected approximately 4,500 individuals last month. Information from about 2% of customer orders was accessed by a person using a Canada Post delivery tracking tool. The incident was reported to Ontario's Privacy Commissioner. Alberta Premier Rachel Notley says Ottawa's announcement yesterday of $1.6 billion in aid for the oil and gas sector is a start, but she says it doesn't address the pipeline bottleneck in the province.
I'm concerned, this is only the very first step of what we anticipate had better be many steps, because it's absolutely not what we went to the federal government identifying to them that the industry needed. As I've said, we've heard from some small producers that this will help them. It will help them get access to capital in trying times and perhaps tide them over, but it is not entirely what they were looking for too. And you know, it is a cut and paste. It's so cut and paste that it talks about support developing export markets. Well, hate to break it to you, but the whole world wants our product. The issue is not finding a market for our product. The issue is getting our product to that market. So we don't need help finding more markets. We need help moving our product. And I don't know that we could have been much more clear about that.
The U.S. Senate's top Republican and Democratic leaders began negotiating yesterday after the White House indicated President Donald Trump does not want a federal government shutdown over his demand for $5 billion for a border wall with Mexico.
The president said last week he would be proud to shut down the government. We Democrats don't want to shut down the government. And as for the idea of what Sarah Sanders Huckabee said, they could get wall money from NAFTA or some other part of the government. They need congressional approval. They're not getting it for the wall. Plain and simple. Now, where are we? The ball remains in the president's and Republicans' court to accept one of our common sense